about tonight. So now it's time, everybody, where we get our discussion pieces going. And now it's time for us to get into it. Come on. All right, let's get into it, okay? We got another Game of Thrones prequel series coming here, everybody. Let's just dive right into that again. They are just going to keep doing this, and I think that the fans hopefully will enjoy it. We're going back another 100 years before the events of Game of Thrones, and we're getting the Night of Seven Kingdoms, the Hedge Knight. That's what this is being titled. Now, it's coming out late 2025. It was ordered back in April of 2023, but there hasn't been much word about it, but now it's officially moving forward. It will come out after the second season of House of the Dragon, so you're going to get a bunch of Lord of the Rings prequels moving forward. Again, this takes place a century before the events of Game of Thrones, and there you have two unlikely heroes wandering Westeros, a young, naive, but courageous knight named Sir Duncan the Tall, and his diminutive squire, Egg. And it's set at an age where the Targaryens, I know, right? I know, right?
Egg.
I know. Egg.
I'm sorry.
Egg. We got Egg, we got I know, think of the names, it's like okay. It could be fun, but it's set in the age of the Targaryen line, still holds the Iron Throne, and there's memories of the last dragon, but there's no dragons really around anymore, and there's powerful foes. They're saying dangerous exploits. Oh, wait, they're improbable and incomparable friends. So yeah, that's what they're saying about it. To me, it could be cool. It sounds like a buddy adventure maybe in Lord of the Rings. Or not Lord of the Game of Thrones. They all maxed in. So maybe that would be something cool. And that is Lord of the Rings, a buddy adventure. But it sounds like they're kind of going into that kind of world, this buddy adventure with Egg and the Tall being together, making an adventure out there in Westeros. But it could be cool. We're trying to figure out this whole Game of Thrones thing. They haven't been able to get the continuation with Jon Snow going, but we keep going back and forth in the past to make more prequels. Again, I think we should have started going way back, go as far back as we're going to go back, and then work our way forward, as opposed to doing because House of the Dragon is before this, so this is in between House of the Dragon and the original Game of Thrones. So why are we going a little bit further back? And to me, it's a weird thing. We should just go all the way back. The Aegon one should have been the first one maybe, and then build your way up. That's just what made the most sense to me. But I think they just didn't know it was going to stick, and maybe they didn't know House of Dragon was going to stick. And come on, guys, they knew it was going to stick. Just whatever. But to me, I'll watch this. I'm excited to see anything about Game of Thrones. I like the original series. Again, I think they dropped the ball at the end, but I think this could be fun. It could be a fun kind of back and forth buddy thing if they do it right, and a great adventure maybe. But see, Rachel, I know you like Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones. I know Game of Thrones. We talked about Game of Thrones before. See, I got Lord of the Rings in the brain now. Are you excited to see another spin-off, another prequel series coming from this, or do you think we're getting into the realm of it's too much for doing too many prequels, and what the hell are we doing HBO Max at this point?
I think that they are going to teeter themselves very close to franchise fatigue. I think dropping House of Dragons and this and the Aegon story is too much. It is too much all at once. If they wanted to do multiple series at a time, they should have really struck when the peak of the fandom was going, before they fucked up the last couple seasons of Game of Thrones. So I can't say that I'm overly excited for it. I mean, they won me back with Egg. They lost me in the beginning there, but then they hit me with Egg, and how can you not?
We got scrambled.
Hopefully Egg doesn't get scrambled. He'll keep it over easy. So we'll get our hard-boiled characters in there, and we'll just keep moving forward. Yeah, but I'm less excited for Egg than I am the Aegon story. Show me them forging the Iron Throne. That's what I want to see. Yeah, I give a fuck about any of these other series until you give me that.
And that's the thing too. I'm like, that's where I think most fans want to see them go with it, Rachel, too. It's like we want to see that how the Iron Throne was made. That was like the biggest thing. It's like it's such a great prop on the show too, and you're like, there's such a great story.
That's mythology they spent 8 seasons building already.
Yeah.
Do people already care about that? People don't care about these characters we've never heard about, these little offshoot stories that don't relate to the main story that we've already grown to know.
We're going to love Egg, though. I think we're going to love Egg.
We're going to love Egg. #Team Egg.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what they do, but you're right. I think that, again, we should have started going way back, done that story, figure out the Iron Throne, the downfall of the Targaryens, and that could have led into House of Dragon. Now we're just be jumping around a little bit too much for me. But you know what? I'll check it out. Maybe it'll be great. Maybe it'll be fun. Maybe it'll be something totally different from Game of Thrones. How you feel, Jake? You feeling like this is a good thing? Are you on board of Team Egg? Are you all about this? Or do you think, again, that there's a little bit of fatigue maybe happening in the Game of Thrones world right now, and Max, HBO, Warner Brothers is trying to just throw everything at the wall to see if it sticks?
I know a lot about eggs. And sometimes if you try to cook too many, you end up with it on your face. And there's a good chance that they're going to do that by trying to do too much. But I don't know. We'll see. If it depends on how if they line it all up. If the writing is decent, they might be able to pull it off. That's the only thing. But doing too much, and you end up with, it could end up like the DC universe where it's just weird. Up to this point, it's just weird, and to keep that continuity going, that's a challenge enough. And then you try to do, all these things all at once. That makes it that much harder. But maybe the Beatles movie that we talked about before will learn from their mistakes, and they won't do that in there. So there could be a learning curve here for them.
There could be. That Beatles thing still is fascinating to me too. We talked about last week. The fact they're going to be like a bunch of different movies happening at the same time and crossing over, and that's what this could be. I mean, ideally it could have been something like that, but I think that we're just jumping around too much with Game of Thrones that, it's like it might confuse people when things take place too. I mean, chronological order is always the best, I think, if you're going to do something like this. But hindsight, right?
Yeah, it's always 2020. So yeah,
I'm intrigued to see. We'll see. What about the Thirsty Daddy over there, everybody? What do you think Thirsty Daddy thinks about this, GR? Are you excited to see another Game of Thrones coming forward here?
At least.
No, this is not for you.
I'm the only person in America that didn't watch the Game of Thrones with epic enthusiasm. As far as I'm concerned, they're just another family, like Rachel's favorite series of movies.
It's all about family.
Family, GR. It's all about family.
There's too much incest in this family, though.
Yeah, that's definitely a very incestuous.
Well, there is that, but that's a personal thing. We're not getting into. We're a G-rated show. Remember, can't talk about that.
We can't talk about incest. No.
To me, it's stupid. I mean, as you said, Brian, they're jumping around. If it was chronological, it might make some sense, but it's just not for me. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Well, I get it. It's not for everybody, too. And I honestly didn't get on the Game of Thrones bandwagon for like a long time. Like when the final season was coming out, that's when I actually binged it all. And I was like, I don't know about this. And it's a good story, though. It brings you in great characters, great acting. And I think that's what's really sold it. And then the dragons. We need more dragons. I think it was David Banner said, give us a
lot more dragons.
It's a whole dragon series. And that's the one thing that I think is cool about House of Dragon. You actually have dragons. They're riding dragons. They're killing people with dragons. You know what I mean? Like there's fire and brimstone and all that shit. And I think that's what people wanted for Game of Thrones. We didn't have that till the very end. And it's like you're waiting, anticipation building up. So maybe we do get now World of Dragons. Again, this one with Egg will not have many dragons because they're gone again. So good old Egg. Hopefully he can lead the way. And
is his last name Benedict by any chance?
Benedict Egg?
Yes.
Egg Benedict.
Benedict.
Oh, snap,
He's
GR.
going to go out there and get poached. It's going to be a whole problem.
Yep. No, based. He'll be based.
Sorry, I couldn't resist that one.
Oh, GR.
Rachel got scrambled in the over easy,
I think one of my bigger concerns with this overall for the network is that these shows are very expensive to make.
Very expensive.
Game of Thrones is one of the most expensive series you can produce. And under HBO's current leadership, they are canceling things because they're expensive. They're getting things
$150 million
written off because they're expensive. So this could tank the network potentially if it goes bad enough.
It's kind of the same thing that happened with Amazon where they did Lord of the Rings, and that was banking on being a big success.
Yeah.
And they put all their eggs in that basket, good old egg, and it didn't work out too well for them. And now they're cutting people and fire people. And there's all this talk we talked about the other day about Freebie maybe going away because they just don't have the money.
Yeah.
You know, when they get into that armor
right.
and stuff, it's amazing how expensive armor is to make, even if it's Hollywood armor. I mean, it's incredibly expensive.
Yeah. Well, they have all the CG with the dragons and Egg won't have the dragon.
It'll all probably be AI anyway.
That's probably why there's no dragons, though, because they're like, let's do a time where there's no dragons. It'll be a little cheaper for our pocketbooks for this one, right? But we don't want to do the dragons all the time, you know. So that might be part of the reason why.
It's too hot.
Too hot. Way too hot. Oh, man. I don't know. I just hope it's good. Yeah, egg. Now I'm getting hungry. I know eggs. We're talking about eggs all night. I don't know why. We're going to be talking about eggs for the rest of it. It should be called eggs and
bacon tonight. Ham or something.
Give me some Canadian bacon, some ham, and some eggs, and let's just do that. Let's have some breakfast right now, everybody. Let's have some breakfast. We'll do a cooking show where Jake does breakfast for us next time, because Jake is master chef over there. Yeah, right. AM making friggin' lattes and bacon. I can't wait for it. But Game of Thrones, get another spinoff, everybody. Excited about it? Do you want to see it? Are you stoked? Because honestly, it could be good. But then again, I will still say we should have probably just gone back, start as far back as we could, and then develop forward. Because again, people love the story. Let's sort of work our way up to it. Let's just figure that out too.